Hello, everyone. I'm the Sports Wiz 101, and today I'll be predicting Week 16 of the NFL season. So, predict all these games set to take place this week. I don't know about you guys, but I had a pretty bad Sunday. Saw my team get eliminated for the first time since I was in high school. On top of that, Mahomes suffers the ACL tear. And I try to move on from that by going, okay, maybe I'll start rooting for the Packers, especially since that's my sister's favorite team. Of course, they freaking lose their star defensive player in Micah Parsons to an ACL tear. What the heck am I supposed to do? Well, maybe the answer is get better in my predictions. We've been consistent as of late, going 10-6 last week. Pretty much nailing the predictions for the games in the AFC, but struggling in the NFC. Maybe we can do a bit better this week. And we start with the Chiefs and the Titans going at it in Nashville. Of course, as I mentioned, Mahomes tore his ACL. He injured his LCL as well. He's, of course, out the rest of the year. And the Chiefs are out of the playoffs for the first time since I was in high school. It's going to be Minshew Mania going wild for Kansas City. So I guess the question is, can this Minshew-led offense go to Nashville and beat the Titans? I think they will. I think that even without Mahomes, this Chiefs team has the talent where they should be able to beat a team like the Titans, a team that's going after the first overall pick again. And I do think Kansas City gets the win before they have to be back in action on Christmas. Next, we have the Patriots and the Ravens. This one's actually the Sunday night game. And I'm going to take Baltimore. I mean, part of me wants to take New England. They've been good at defending the run this year, and Baltimore, of course, very dangerous in the run game. But I also feel like Baltimore is a bit more desperate. I feel like Baltimore is going to do what it takes to try to, depending on how Pittsburgh's game goes, either keep pace or take the lead in the North. Either way, huge game for Baltimore. Of course, huge game for New England as well, but Baltimore may feel like they need to play their best to keep their playoff hopes alive going down the stretch. And I think that motivation allows them to get the win at home over the Patriots. Bills and Browns going at it in Cleveland. Bills will have a big problem with Myles Garrett, but I think we all know this will be a Buffalo win in Cleveland. Might be a bit closer than you might expect, especially with the Cleveland defense. Wouldn't surprise me for the Browns to exploit the biggest weakness on the Bills. But let's face it, this is the game the Bills should win. Would not surprise me if it was close, but really it should be a fairly convincing win. Next, we have the Jags and the Broncos going at it in Denver. I don't think there are too many people thinking that these are two of the top teams in the AFC going at it, but that's where we are right now. In the end, I gotta take Denver in that defense to shut down the Trevor Lawrence-led Jags offense. I do think Jacksonville can attack that Denver D through on the ground, but I don't think they'll have enough to take down the Broncos. Raiders and Texans, this will be my lock of the week. I'll take the Texans. They are on fire right now on this big old win streak. It's going to get them in the playoffs, I believe. In fact, I believe that This win streak will result in a division title for the Texans. And you take on a hapless Raiders squad that just has not been able to do much on offense all year. So yeah, I'll take the Texans here. Bengals, Dolphins going at it in Miami. I believe this was the original Sunday Night Football game. But of course it gets flexed out as these two teams have struggled. Dolphins announced today that they are going through a quarterback change. It's going to be Quinn Ewers as the starting quarterback of the Dolphins. I don't think that bodes well for Miami. I think Cincinnati gets their offense back on track and they get the win in Miami. Next up, we have the Chargers and the Cowboys. Tough matchup for the Chargers, but I think that that Herbert might actually have some time. The Cowboys have not been that good at rushing the passer this year, so I think that the Chargers missing both their tackles won't be that much of a factor. So I think the Chargers get the win in Dallas. Jets and Saints go at it in New Orleans. Two teams that you might expect to tank. I feel like the Saints are a bit more of a competent team. I think they got a better coach. I think they have a better defense. And I think the Saints get the win at home over the Jets. Potentially big game here as the Steelers take on the Lions in Detroit. Pittsburgh now leads the AFC North by a full game over Baltimore after getting the win last Monday against the Dolphins. Detroit, like Baltimore, is going to be a team that feels like they might have to be in desperation mode. In fact, there's already a scenario out there that would result in the Lions getting eliminated. However, I don't think that scenario comes to fruition because I think Detroit wins this. I don't think Pittsburgh quite has the offensive capabilities to keep up with the Lions, and I think Detroit pulls away with a win. Then we got the Monday night game. It's the 49ers against the Colts. Indy, of course, now led by the grandpa himself, Philip Rivers. And Rivers almost came away with a road win in Seattle this past Sunday. So could he potentially come away with a win here against the 49ers to try to keep the Colts playoff hopes alive? I say no. I think the 49ers go to Indy. They get the win. I think that defense will make things especially difficult for the Colts. And then all the 49ers will have to do is find a way to get into the end zone a couple of times. And I think they do just that. So give me the 49ers. Then we got a huge one. Thursday night football. It's the Rams. It's the Seahawks. NFC West duel. Winner takes the lead in that division. And here, I can't ignore that Seattle, a very tough place to play, even though this Seahawks team seems to be better on the road. That being said, the Rams dealing with some injuries. Devontae Adams especially dealing with some injuries. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to go, but if he does, I don't think he's going to be at full strength. And I think that leads to Seattle getting a measure of revenge after they lost over at SoFi. And I think Seattle takes the lead in the West with 2 to go. Then we got the Saturday doubleheader. First we got the Packers and the Bears in Chicago. Huge game, NFC North on the line. Feels like I said that just 2 weeks ago because they did play 2 weeks ago. That game was at Lambeau Field, and Green Bay won it 28-21. Chicago was driving, trying to find a way to tie the game, only to throw an interception. And I do think this game could be a bit closer. Especially, well, first of all, the fact that in Chicago was going to mean something, but also Green Bay, of course, not having Micah Parsons. However, I think that Jordan Love is going to keep finding ways to move the ball against the Chicago defense, and I think the Packers come away with a road win, a huge road win, to capture first place in the NFC North again. Eagles and Commanders will be going at it first on Saturday, and it's this game that's Philly's next chance to lock up the NFC East. Now, if the Cowboys lose like I think they're going to, then yeah, Philly doesn't have much to worry about when it comes to locking up the division, but you'd still like to get a road win over the rival Commanders in this NFC Championship game rematch. No Jaden Daniels for Washington. Sure, Philly might still find a way to struggle on offense, but you wouldn't expect that against this Commander defense. I think the Eagles get the road win and officially become the NFC East champions. Vikings and Giants going at it in the Meadowlands. I like Minnesota. I think that the offense maybe will have its struggles, but should be able to get the job done. I like the Vikings offense at this point. Possibly more than the Giants, but I definitely love that defense more than the Giants. So we'll take Minnesota to win that one. And that will lead to a big matchup in the NFC South. Panthers and Buccaneers going at it in Charlotte. NFC South lead on the line. Of course, these teams will meet up here in a couple of weeks in Tampa. And if the rest of the season goes like I think it's going to, that Week 18 game is going to be for the division title. But here we get round one. It's in Charlotte. And I like the Panthers enough. I think that Tampa defense is reeling at this point. So I'll take Carolina in what will be my upset of the week. Aside from that, we got the Falcons and the Cardinals. Last game for me to predict here, I'll take the Falcons. Especially offensively, they have been a bit better than the Cardinals as of late. Arizona might be able to win this with their defense, but I think Atlanta, they'll be able to move the ball pretty effectively against the Cardinals. I think they get the win in the desert. But there you go. There's my picks for Week 16 of the NFL season. If you like this, please like and subscribe. For more to come in the following weeks, I'm the Sports Wiz 101, and I will see you all later.